finding a comfortable position where your body feels fully supported. Allow your muscles to soften, your spine to align naturally, and your hands to rest easily. Let your eyes gently close or soften as attention turns inward. Take a slow, deep breath in, feeling the body expand gently, and then exhale naturally, releasing tension without force. With each breath, signal to your nervous system that this is a moment for calm, presence, and receptivity. Today's session focuses on speaking without performing, on authentic expression without the weight of judgment or expectation. Speaking naturally does not require perfection, approval, or constant self-monitoring. It simply requires presence, awareness, and trust in your own voice. As you settle, begin to notice habitual tendencies when you think about speaking. Perhaps there is an inner critic, a desire to control every word, or a fear that others will evaluate every gesture and tone. Observe these tendencies without judgment, recognizing them as learned patterns rather than inherent truths. You do not need to resist them or push them away. Simply notice how performance anxiety has influenced past attempts at speaking. See it as a pattern of self-protection, a strategy that once felt necessary but is no longer required. Allow the body to release the effort of trying to control or impress, softening around these old habits. Now bring awareness to the physical sensations of readiness. Notice the posture, the grounding of your feet if seated, the alignment of the spine, and the ease in the shoulders and chest. Let your breath move naturally, supporting presence rather than performance. Imagine each inhale drawing in calm, clarity, and openness, and each exhale releasing tension, pressure, and the need to perform. Your body begins to recognize that speaking does not need to trigger tension or self-monitoring. Presence, not perfection, is the foundation for effective communication. Begin to visualize a situation where you might speak. It could be in a meeting, a classroom, a social gathering, or a presentation. Notice the environment in detail, the light, the space, the subtle sounds around you. Imagine yourself beginning to speak and notice any thoughts or sensations that arise. Perhaps a desire for approval appears, or a fear of judgment. Allow yourself to observe these tendencies without acting on them. Recognize that the desire to perform is separate from your actual capacity to communicate effectively. Your mind may want to control, correct, or anticipate reactions, but you can choose presence instead. Now imagine shifting attention from the audience to yourself, to the act of speaking as an expression of thought rather than a performance. Words flow naturally, like water moving without force. Notice the quality of your voice, the rhythm of your speech, and the intention behind each phrase. You do not need to impress or manipulate the listener. Your role is simply to convey, to share, to express. Observe how this shift, letting go of performance and focusing on expression, changes the experience of speaking. Tension in the body softens, the breath becomes steady, and clarity replaces anxiety. Speaking from presence is effortless compared to speaking from evaluation. As you continue, imagine different types of speech speaking scenarios: formal, informal, rehearsed, or spontaneous. In each case, observe the sensation of letting go of self-monitoring. Allow thoughts about audience judgment to arise, and gently redirect attention to the content of your speech, your voice, and the physical sensations of expression. Notice how the body responds with relaxation, the breath remains stable, and the mind feels freer. The nervous system begins to encode the experience of speaking without performance pressure as safe, natural, and even enjoyable. Now imagine practicing a brief speech or explanation aloud in your mind. Visualize each sentence flowing smoothly, without editing, second-guessing, or rushing. Notice your hands, gestures, posture, and facial expressions as natural extensions of communication. Every movement is purposeful and relaxed, expressing ideas without self-consciousness. If anxious thoughts or judgmental evaluations appear, see them as passing clouds. They do not require action. They do not define your speaking ability. Simply allow them to drift, while your focus returns to the act of sharing your message authentically. Bring awareness to the sensations of your body as it supports authentic expression. Notice how the chest expands, the shoulders soften, and the throat and jaw remain relaxed. Breath flows freely, providing steady support for your voice. Your nervous system learns to associate speaking with safety, presence, and internal regulation rather than fear, performance pressure, or external evaluation. Imagine this pattern solidifying with each rehearsal, each visualization, creating a foundation for real-life speaking situations. Now consider situations where you might have felt the need to perform excessively. Perhaps you have noticed tension in the stomach, racing thoughts, or gripping the podium or notes tightly. Imagine those moments transforming as you engage with presence instead of performance. The body relaxes, the voice flows, and your attention turns inward toward meaning, clarity, and authenticity. You are speaking for yourself, not to satisfy others, and that shift frees energy, focus, and confidence. Bring attention to the idea of imperfection as a natural part of communication. Mistakes, pauses, or variations in tone do not reduce your capacity to be understood or appreciated. They are markers of humanity, not failure. Let the mind register that authentic expression is inherently more effective than controlled performance, and that the nervous system responds more favorably to presence than to tension. Allow a sense of acceptance to arise with this realization, softening any remaining resistance. Now begin to visualize speaking in increasingly complex scenarios. Perhaps you are explaining an idea to colleagues, telling a story to friends, or presenting to a small group. Notice how your words emerge naturally. Your voice modulates with intention, and your gestures support communication without exaggeration. If anxious thoughts arise, see them as neutral signals, reminding you to return to presence rather than engage in self-criticism. Presence becomes your anchor, your reference point, your new default. Each successful visualization reinforces that speaking is a skill of expression, not performance. Bring attention to the subtle feedback from your body. Notice how the heart rate remains steady, shoulders remain relaxed, and jaw softens even when content is complex or audience attention is uncertain. Each physical cue of calm reinforces the mental experience of authenticity. Your nervous system integrates this pattern, learning that speaking without performing is safe, effective, and even enjoyable. Confidence grows naturally, without the need for effortful control or constant vigilance. Now expand the visualization to a scenario where you might normally feel pressure, perhaps a larger audience, unexpected questions, or unfamiliar listeners. Observe how you can maintain presence even when uncertainty arises. If self-evaluative thoughts appear, acknowledge them and return focus to authentic expression. Each moment of conscious choice, allowing yourself to speak without performance pressure, strengthens neural pathways for automatic calm, clarity, and composure. The body and mind are learning together that authentic expression is more sustainable than control, more powerful than perfection, and more freeing than evaluation. As the session continues, notice how you carry this awareness beyond individual speaking events. Every conversation, every informal discussion, every moment of sharing your ideas reinforces the principle that expression is more important than performance. The mind begins to reframe